Oh, I'm not going to say all right. Not going to say all right. Not going to say all right. Hello, friends. I'm not going to say we're so excited, but we are. Another 3x3. You got your love man, although you see my government down there. Yvonne. It's Yvonne today. It's Yvonne.
Yvonne. Yvonne.
I gave up my tennis career to do this. we got we got Dericker in the middle, and we got Soul Brav. Soul Brav.
Yes.
Yeah, you see some Hoswa.
Hoswa.
See some Hoswa in the corner.
Is he coming for you? He coming for Al B. Shua's career. Coming for Al B's radio career.
Hilarious. Yeah, dude be mad smooth on the jump too. He be like, hey, this is Al B. Sure. I mean, no disrespect.
Yeah,
he's cool. He's mad cool. He's showing us love. I'm just like, I wish I could be that cool when I grow up.
Yeah, he be on that joint. Like, I don't care what's going on. Yes, there's a lot of hurricane weather.
Yeah.
But Al make that joint sound good.
Chuck's be getting hype off the joint. He's like, it's 98 degrees outside. And, can we get Kyle West to break down the temperature? Kyle West. Oh man! And speaking of which, how appropriate is that? We're like doing like Al B. Sure references, and
it's
this
88.
week, yes, exactly.
88.
We're talking about 1988, Double Ocho, the year that seems so long ago.
Yeah,
it wasn't all that long ago, but 1988. So let's get into it. We'll give you a little, you know how we do, a little historical content, and then we jump into the choices of les musique. So yes, 1988, a very interesting year. Another presidential election year.
Mm-hmm.
We were finally, we thought that, the Reagan era was going to be over. It was just extended.
But politics was funny that year because
dude.
I know the Democratic convention was in Atlanta that summer.
Wait. Oh wow, was it?
Wait. I believe it was. I think it was.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I can double check that. But yeah, I think it was because I remember. I mean, not to, but I think that's where like Rob Lowe got in trouble.
With the young lady.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was a lot like
allegedly.
Yeah. The whole like Gary Hart scandal.
That's right, on the boat, the monkey business.
Yeah,
yes,
that type stuff. So, but like it was a different time because stuff wasn't as like there were no 24-hour news channels. So when like
I was just talking about that. Well, CNN was whatever, but they hadn't hit their stride.
Yeah,
they were around, but what set them off? Not to cut you off, but what set off CNN and the 24-hour news cycle?
What was that?
Desert Storm. The first one. That's when everybody started.
91.
Yeah, but I digress.
Yeah.
I used to watch television till television went off.
And like Uncle Lenny, what you talking about? I was just talking about that. Like the thing was boo. Star Spangled Banner come on. It's like go to bed.
You see them testing color lines.
Exactly.
You see them drawing.
Saturday Night Live, and it was a wrap.
Yeah. Like, matter of fact, that was, I think 88. The only thing that was might have been 24 hours was the cable channel.
Yes.
Well, that movie channel, like HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, that type thing.
That's right.
But for the most part, your local channels were definitely not 24 hours. And then your, like your area channels might have been, they might have just started transitioning to, stuff like that. But yeah, like it wasn't. That might have been the maybe like a year or two in with that. Like that wasn't that old. Like MTV was 24 hours, of course, VH1. stuff.
but
like
BET would
BET
go off after
wasn't.
it would go either it would go off or play them stupid infomercials.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, golly, man.
Yeah. Yep.
You know.
Yep. Sure did.
You know, I have a highlight. Well, obviously, I have numerous highlights from the year 1988. Besides graduating high school, but that year, and I think it was in February or March, I stepped up to the microphone to a very, very, very packed church, like very, very packed, like John Lewis funeral, packed
okay.
if we didn't have pandemic, that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
to play. I think I only played one saxophone solo that night, but I know I played one for the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who was running for president.
Okay.
He made a tour stop here in Charlottesville.
Run, Jesse, run.
Yeah, he was running, boy. That brother got up there, was preaching. Had white people up in there and everything.
Run, Jesse, run. Well, that was the slogan. Run, Jesse, run.
Yep. You know, he started rhyming.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was a rap then.
It was
killing it then.
It was like bars.
It was it. That was it. Yeah, because he matter of fact, I checked, and the convention was in Atlanta.
Oh, awesome.
Omni. And I remember
the old school big old Omni. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
wow.
And I mean, that's what Jesse gave that speech where people was like, dang, he's serious up in this thing. Because I remember the next day, like I remember after that happened, I was in summer school.
Oh, wow.
I know that summer taking like a geometry class. And I remember the next day, my teacher, instead of doing math, like she talked about the importance of his speech. And it's like you knew it was heavy when it's a math class and then you talking about politics. And
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was, it really was kind of, it was amazing. I mean, 84 was a thing with him. You know what I'm saying? Like he was making noise, but 88 was like for real. Like it was like,
man, like could Jesse do it?
Yeah. It was like, could he?
He might have pulled this off.
Yeah. And I mean, when I got to the church, you know what I'm saying? Like I get there, Secret Service is like looking at my case. You know, it was like real deal. It was like, I had to go into a special jump, and I mean, it was mad people in there. You know, news was like, "Oh, sir, can we get a quick?" I'm just a kid, man.
Run, Jesse, run.
Yeah, that was, man. Yeah, that was. Oh, yeah. So it was. Yeah, Jesse running. That was awesome. I'm gonna save some of the pop culture stuff right before we get into the music because there's a whole bunch of touchstones.
Okay.
Lots of touchstones. At this point when this happened, I was actually in college, so I didn't get to engage with it as much because I went to school in a little town and I didn't have a TV, and I was shy and I didn't go into the TV lounge. But anyway, the Olympics.
Sure did.
Your man's breaking records on their juice.
Oh yeah. Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson was like, I'm breaking records.
Man,
so he's on the juice.
boy, that dude ran so fast. As soon as he finished, they was like, come on. And you know, hey, you getting tested right now. That guy was like, no, ain't no way.
Nope.
And his lead in front of other people was like, I don't know if y'all can see it. That joint was like this. He was like, I know was ready to show the picture. That joint was
it Michael Johnson in that race? Was that his era, or that was later?
That might have been later. I know Carl Lewis was there.
Carl Lewis was there. Yep.
Man. Okay, Ben Johnson, man, was so far in front of him. He was a full body. Like his body was like, it was like this. Okay, here's Ben Johnson. This is them. Like, that joint was like he could kind of look back at them, see them, and it was just like, oh yeah. You know, FloJo was, was happening.
Man, FloJo was.
And it was setting it on fire. Like everybody was like, "Who is this sister with the nails?"
With the nails and the bodysuit.
She came out that joint like,
full hair, like yo.
Yeah, like I know prior to then, that sister just came out with the pullback.
Right, she had the full jump. Like
she had that joint with her nails done.
Right. Like whatever.
Like You know I'm about to win this, right?
Yeah. She didn't even got to scare
half
people.
outfit, half
Yeah.
half the joint, man. Yeah. Man,
she just get into the blocks like whatever.
full makeup,
Yeah, full
like,
makeup, everything.
She come out that joint like,
Shoot,
you know I'm about to win this, right?
And then she went on 227.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
She went on 227.
Man,
And
Doug Williams won
that's
the
what
Super
I was
Bowl.
just getting ready to say.
Yeah.
First brother win a Super Bowl.
Talking about the Washington football team.
The Washington football team.
I think the only time that they really had, I know majority African American, I know support.
the Washington football team, which was a strike season. So you had cats. Matter of fact, a brother from here has got a ring because he played.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was that season that he played. Yeah, much respect.
Yeah,
he got a ring, man.
Yeah, man. And man, I know you gonna hate this nephew, Josh, but yeah, shout out man to the Grambling alum out and listening. Doug, hey man. And at that point, like, everybody was cheering for everybody. So like everybody was cheering for Doug. I don't care what school he went to. It was swag. Swag.
Definitely. Well, I'm a Washington fan, so
That's right.
Okay. So yeah, like I mean, hey man, like that was you. I mean, now like people really don't understand the magnitude of it, but
that was huge.
They was like Jay Schroeder went down. They was like, "There's no way they can beat John Elway," and they was hyping that joint up like Elway was the golden child. They was like, no way they gonna beat John Elway.
I mean,
and the Broncos and
shoot, what Doug had been in the league about 12 years by that point. I mean, because I think he was the draft pick that they was trying to build Tampa Bay with.
So
yeah,
like he was on the tail end at that point. Like he was on the tail end of his career, man. And they was like, Doug Williams, he's a journeyman. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They talk about us.
And man, he came in that joint, and it was like that joint just one of them moments. Just everything went slow motion all of a sudden. He just lit that joint up like a Christmas tree. But they was just like, even the announcers couldn't. They couldn't. It was nothing they could say. It was just like, yo, he killing them. Like lit that joint up. Boy, the next day. They kept talking about hopefully this will end the stereotype of black quarterbacks, and it was some years later. It's still, I think, man, like, is this the year that Jimmy the Greek made them comments?
Yeah, I think it was. Actually, it was. Come on, man. Same story.
Yeah,
every time.
It was crazy, man. It was but Doug lit that joint up, man. Like I remember, like that was like one of them moments. Like again, like next day in school, like everybody was just like, "Yo, did you see it? Like, did you witness that history being made?" It was just like,
Yeah. So it was a great year for sports. I think I think I was following which Kansas may have won the NCAA. I can't.
Oh yeah, with Danny Manning.
Yeah, with Danny Manning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling, and then I think those guys go on to. Represent, which is okay. Here's trivia, not trivia, but that was the last year of the amateurs per se for basketball in the Olympics. Because the next Olympics, it's the dream team. The next in '92, 88 was the end. It was like,
So I mean, man, looking back, I was surprised that we had won as many times as they had.
Right.
I mean, prior to that, because they were right, like they were playing grown. They were playing grown jokers, and we were sending teenagers basically over there joint kids that were like, juniors and sophomores in college. I never played them cats, man. And man, them dudes had like a good 5-6 years on them, weight wise and all that stuff, man. Yo, that joint makes a difference. I don't care how.
It makes a big difference.
Because we said like Alonzo Mourning, I think went that year.
Yeah, it was 88. Yep, that's right. Was Christian Leighton on that team? He might have been.
88. I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but he would have been all those dudes are like my age. So yeah, because
Danny Ferry might have been on that squad. Okay. Manning might have been on that.
Yeah.
Because they were the guys. who, as I'm thinking about like 88, I'm thinking
right, coming out, right. My bad. Yeah, I'm thinking,
yeah.
you know what I'm thinking? Leitner was coming out of high school
Yeah.
in 88.
And then Leitner was on the Dream Team.
Yes.
Yeah, he was on the Dream Team.
Yep.
Yeah, he was on the Dream Team.
Yeah. And also one more quick sports note, because the Ricker just reminded me, but my beloved Dodgers won the World Series.
Yes, they did. Kirk.
Yes, Kirk Gibson.
Kirk Gibson.
My beloved Dodgers. I like I can't even go anywhere. It's like, well, no, I love Atlanta's my other team. I love the Braves, which would seem like a conflict because I am a Dodger fan. But I digress, because people around here, they like the Nats. I give them love.
Oh yeah, well that's close vicinity. So,
yeah, the hometown. So pop culture wise, 1988 is a watershed moment for people that look like us. Because if you think about it, in the 1980s, there was not. Okay, let me put it like this. In the beginning of the 1980s, if we talk film, it was just Richard Pryor for black people, for the most part.
You mean pre-85?
Yeah. It's just Richard. It's Richard, and then 81, 82 gives us Eddie. Eddie, he starts with,
but his films weren't, his films weren't. He was buddy films because he did.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need. Yeah.
Places,
I mean, anyone could have played these. I'm not. Yeah, they weren't even. So they were like black men in roles. Yeah. Anybody could have played the role, but but
they made
but like you said, pre-85. So what happens? I guess So once we get to the beginning of the 80s, it's all the fallout from the black exploitation era, and
it was I'm trying to think, because you're right, because I think you had early 80s, maybe Stir Crazy. You had probably what's the joint? Bustin' Loose, which was
you know what I'm saying? And we can't forget that classic DC Cab. No.
DC Cab, yeah. I mean, so it was like basically if 2 a year, that's pushing it. Probably 1 a year. It literally was. Yeah. It literally was like 1 a year, and then you get to 84, which was
Soldier Story.
That, and then Purple Rain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Purple Rain, Soldier Story. Then the next year you get
The Color Purple.
The Color Purple, but also the cinematic
She's Gotta Have It.
No, I was going to say the cinematic genius of Crush Groove.
Crush Groove. Yes.
I think the Fat Boys deserved an Oscar.
Shout out to Michael Schultz.
That's right. What else do we know Michael Schultz from? Cooley High.
And Car Wash. I think it was. Shout out to Michael Schultz. So you're right, man. Like that is, because I'm struggling to think, because I think Which Way Is Up might have been at the end of the 70s.
It was 77. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So we're
on the upswing. Black. So wait a minute. So we have the Eddie. Eddie is his own universe. We have his movies. So we have Beverly Hills Cop. We have the Golden Child, Beverly Hills Cop 2. But in 88, oh buddy, we was ramping up.
Oh yeah.
Because at the end of 87, we get what? We get Raw.
Yep.
We get Raw, and then
which
February.
His last stand up.
His last stand up.
His last stand up.
And in February of 88, which the night I went to see it, I was in there with the UNC basketball team because they was gonna play UVA.
Yeah.
Rick Fox was in the house. Shout out to Rick Fox. Yeah, he was in there.
Rick Fox.
We all went to see School Days together.
School Days, yeah.
Which was like, dude, like I can't even explain like what it felt like. You seen the articles in Jet. You saw like the thing. I was like, what is he doing with EU? And I know them guys and such and such and such. And then you just get in there and it's just like, and I mean, Rick, I can't even imagine what seeing that was for you. You know what I'm saying? Like a real deal Atlantean.
Man, closer than home because I will tell you this, like a year before, or maybe, it was maybe like a year before or that spring year, but like a year before, my grandparents stayed near the AU Center.
Wow.
I mean, literally, like walking distance. So like whenever we would visit, back then you could drive through the campus of Spelman House. Now you can't because they got their street closed off.
Mm-hmm.
But and when you would ride through, you would see the stadium. And for anyone that is familiar with the Morehouse Stadium, like you saw in the movie, it's one-sided. It's like a one-sided stadium. And so I remember like me and my dad were going to see my grandparents, and we saw this. We saw the stadium was packed. It was like full. It was like, wow, this is like March, April. Like, what do they got going on? And they had the gates covered. With those coverings you have or whatever, I think where you can't see on the field. So we was like, wow, like they must have, it was that football scene, but it was packed. So it was like everybody was there. So we were like, man, so what's going on? And then, like we never found out, just like, oh, okay, they just got something, like some college type activity going on. And then, like you said, like the next year, I still remember it, man. It was like we had a couple of snow days like in Atlanta in like January, and this Essence came. And on the Essence is Spike Lee and his sister, like on the front cover. And I was like, oh, and so, we're snowed in. And like, I'm sure like most people did, like back when our parents got, you got 3 books. 3 magazine and subscriptions, Ebony, Jet, and Essence.
Yep.
And so
that was my house.
Yeah. And so it wasn't uncommon for us to just read it. So I happened to get the mail like that day, and I saw it. I was like, well, what's this? So I turned to it. And like you said, man, like it was just something about, it was like, film about a Black college. And it was this, and it was just like, and then, like you see the images and the still shots. And I was just like, wow, it just looks appealing. You know what I'm saying? All these Black folks, and it's like, wow. And then when I saw it was filmed like in Atlanta, I was like, oh my goodness. Like this is around the corner, like, oh, like this is really close. And I remember again, the year before, I was coming from a guitar lesson, and I remember I met my cousins, and we were cutting through like Clark, Atlanta. And I remember these dudes was like, hey man, I think y'all want to be in this movie scene. He was like, movie scene? It's like, yeah, man, some dude filmed, I said, a movie. It was a step show scene. So it was like, okay.
Oh wow.
So they sit us at the top of these bleachers. And, and I was just like, I'm like a sophomore in high school. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you go in, it's a completely, no cliche, a completely different world. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you see, back then, like Jasmine Guy was just ferocious.
What are you saying, Ricker?
Like that, man, it was, man, in that gym, like that was the first time I had ever seen like that many fine women. I was just like, yo, if this is what college is, I'm sold. I'm in, Jack. I was like, I'm about to improve the grades. I'm about to do all that. I'm there. And we were sitting there, and like what a lot of people probably don't know, so that somebody who's there, they actually have more Greek organizations.
That they cut out. Yeah.
They kind of just use albums. But I remember being there, and you're seeing all these people. Like we didn't, like we thought, okay, they just filming something for school. Like we didn't.
Right. Oh wow.
We didn't piece it like this was gonna be something. And then it was just like, oh, like this is cool. But I got like a guitar case, man. People looking at me like, who are these kids? Who are these? But like we're sitting at the top of the bleachers, man. Hilarious. And like I remember it, like that they was hyped, and we were just like, oh, okay. We were just kind of geeked off of like we were these high school kids in a college thing. And then fast forward to I got the Essence, saw it, I was hyped. Went, and then come to find out, my great uncle. Shout out to my great uncle Alfred Wyatt, who was band director at Clark University for years. He got a credit shout in the film because when they did the band scene, they combined like Morehouse and Clark and Spelman and all that. So that was the band in the movie. So that was cool. Yeah, I sold that to one of his granddaughters, one of my cousins. She didn't notice. I know she was she was like, "Oh snap, that's my granddad." I was like, yeah, like his name is in the thing, man. But it was hype, man. Like it was just like one of those things where I'm sure like you remember, Ivan, like when you went to go see it, I think cinematically, the culture had never probably been on screen.
No.
That part of our culture
No.
had never been on screen.
Nope.
And so for some kids who had never been to school,
Yeah.
it was just like eye-opening for like my dad and like my mother. It was just a trip down memory lane. Like they were just like, oh my God, yes, I remember this, this. And so you had that one part of the culture that was, you know, I think it was a bridge. That's what I'm trying to
it
say.
absolutely
like,
was. Yeah.
It was a bridge between, you know, kids our age and then our parents, like, hey, say, you know, because, you know, I don't ever remember my parents or their friends kind of openly sharing their experiences at college that frequently pre that film. Now they may have, and I probably just didn't catch it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I know that film definitely, like it was one of those things where, and even if you didn't go to an HBCU, but say you went to like a PWI school, or like African Americans who had gone to college, it was a like relatable, you know what I'm saying, thing. Especially if they pledged like a Greek organization, they you know, like really
lived in Black world.
Yeah. I mean, so but that was man, like I mean, just that whole to say, you know, like that film brought go-go to a lot of people.
Absolutely did.
You know,
it
like
was
that
a proud moment.
Yeah, it was. I mean, man, shout out to Marcus Miller and Mark Stevens for
exactly.
doing that, man. And so, you know, Spike was he was that dude that became how can I say this? He you know was just kind of all right. I'm putting the culture out here, and it's gonna be you know unapologetic. It's gonna be you know what I'm saying? Because
and you know, I never thought about that until you just said this. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is kind of wild. There's no rapping on the soundtrack nor in the movie.
It's none. It's
wow. I just thought of it hadn't dawned on me, but I think because that was really right at for that generation, hip hop hadn't taken over. You know, it hadn't become the center mass of the culture. So that's why it wouldn't have dawned on you that, oh, wait a minute, nobody, because it was jazz for show. That was all up in there. And you had you know, they had the attempted they had, you know, whatever, Gamma. I mean, it's a cool tune. I mean, I like the tune. It's just a little, the Gamma Rays, that was R&B. Then you had Go-Go and
Piece of a Dream on there. You had that Stevie Wonder song. Well, like Stevie didn't sing it, but
man, the Keith John joint, woo, yeah, that was good.
You had the Negro Spiritual. Shout out to the Morehouse Choir. And but it was and I'm trying to think, man. He you know you know the part that kind of gets lost. I think the most hip hop person in the film might have been like Kadeem Hardison's character.
Oh, no doubt. Oh yeah. He was ready for the world tripping.
He was
he was real deal. Like it was, you know, Brooklyn or whatever he repping. You know,
he had a you know, like they had it was like little references. Like I don't know if you remember, but Grady had a big big Patrick Ewing poster in his room.
Absolutely.
You know, like you know, Patrick Ewing had his own like Adidas.
Yep, that's what I was about to say. He had his Adidas joints on.
Matter of fact, because I think Grady might have had him on. Grady's character being the late Bill Nunn. You know, Bill Hunman. I know, like Kadeem Hardison had the '87 Jordans on.
Exactly.
It was like,
he did, them Joseph's fly too.
I mean, you know, I mean, Spike really put, man, you know, like I know, like he put the culture out there in a way that it's like, say, you know, like it's easy to get kind of caught up in. Well, this is a college Greek film, no, because it was a color issue film too.
Yeah.
Man. And it kind of so that started a whole lot of conversations about that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you know, he put out there about, like funding of Black schools and why we don't support, these schools, man. And so like that film has stood the test of time, because I remember opening weekend, it was like that film, and then like the next week I think was like Action Jackson. I remember just, oh my God,
I saw both of them.
like, we're on a roll here.
Wait a minute. Vanity was in, rest in peace. Vanity was in Action Jackson.
Yeah.
I think that might have been, no, I went for Carl Weathers.
Yeah. That's a tale. Like Atlanta, man. And then we're kind of, man, I know I'm rambling.
No.
I had I had two childhood friends that I kind of grew up with in Birmingham that were freshmen at I had a cousin who was a freshman at Spelman.
Oh, nice.
And then the next year I had some friends get to Morehouse. But I remember like in like Atlanta, you saw a whole lot of like opening night at the now famous Greenbrier Mall. They had a theater back then too. It was like a massive party after that. And like I remember trying to get there, and it was just like,
wow.
Like, it was dope. Yeah. Like when that came out, it was just everybody was just like, oh my God, yes, it was filmed here. And I know for some people they think it's like Tyler Perry's town now. They know, no disrespect, Spike was that dude like beforehand. Like I seriously remember, man, like showing it with family functions, and people like, oh, that's Ashby Street, or that's this, or that's over here, or that's there. And it was just like, yeah, like it kind of, it definitely increased the enrollment over the next few years,
which is a beautiful thing. And I also have to say real quick before we leave school days, I would be remiss. I would not. I just want to put it into context for people who missed it. One of the greatest actors of our generation. And he has the line, is it true what they say about mission men?
Sam
Jackson, man. With the curly Jerry curl. Man, listen.
Always talking down there.
Yeah, exactly. Which we in 1988, and I'm going to say this on the internet because y'all always try to steal our stuff. We know it. We don't have a big platform, but y'all be stealing our material. No, I'm just kidding. But we get the trifecta of Sam Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Raw. Because he's the uncle in Raw. He's in School Days. Mm-hmm. And then he's the robber. He's robbing McDowell's and Coming to America.
Yep.
Man, see, now check this out, though.
Yes, sir.
You had that February, which School Days came out like Black History Month.
Yes, it did.
And then you had not more than 3 to 4 months later, like Coming to America.
Yeah.
That was like.
I don't know about, I mean, I know what it was like. You live in Atlanta, Rick. So, but this is Charlottesville. This is Charlottesville. When I tell you that going to see Coming to America in the movie theater was like a family reunion, I'm not exaggerating. It was literally like, hey, just every Black person showed up.
Dude. Yeah, man. I know, like Atlanta was on its cusp of the, like we were, there, but we was on that. We about to.
Wow.
And it was like,
you mean before all the New Yorkers came down?
Yeah. All the transits and all that.
I'm playing. Shout out to New Yorkers. We love them.
But a couple cultural points here, man. Like this was before Majovas was bootlegging movies, and so like
you had to go. Yeah, you had to go.
Because like VHS release was about anywhere from a 7-month wait time.
Yeah, you was late. You just had to be there.
I remember, I remember, I was sitting in summer school class, and man, this dude coming in like, yo, y'all gotta go see Coming to America. That show is like the hottest thing. Oh yeah, sorry, nephew Josh.
Oh yeah, nephew Josh went to see it. He went.
And in the midst of all of this going on film-wise, you had this great music that was You know, like
yeah.
this is one of those moments where I think I heard someone say once, this was when the culture was like really putting its best foot forward.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, like this is the bar of excellence, and if it's not here, we don't want it, because if I'm not mistaken, didn't Hollywood Shuffle come out
the prior spring?
Okay, 87,
so spring of 87. Okay. Yeah, okay. But it was still. I'll tell you why that's an important cultural touch point for this discussion is it was still bubbling because of its visibility on cable. So a lot of people didn't get, it was a small independent thing. Yeah. So a lot of people didn't see it
on cable.
Right. It was on cable.
I heard about it through Jet, Essence, and I remember it being shown in Atlanta. And I remember my cousin was like, "Man, we ain't going to see that." I was like, "Come on, let's go." They was like, "Nah." And then I remember I rented it. Because that's when video stores were starting to really catch fire.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
And I remember somebody had. I was like, "Yeah, I'm watching this." Yeah, you're right, because that was around Golden Child time.
Yeah, and it was in the culture, and then of course in '88 we get the first of the Robert Townsend Partners in Crime. So that's another thing that's again HBO stirring around. So we're starting to get, like you said, these cultural movements moving forward, and the beauty of it at that particular time was that these were best foot forward types of cultural artifacts. Like these were things where people, like you said, the bar was here, and people were just trying to, so whether so we're going to get into this great music. I mean, hip hop stuff. I mean, people, that's like a year. They pull that year out anytime people talk about golden era hip hop. There was the first thing they said, 1988. We're gonna set it straight. And you've got, the waning days of, not the waning days, but we still have like the very, very adult oriented R&B. But of course, in the waning days. And then of course the youth movement coming with New Jack. So I am predicting in this episode that there's going to be a whole lot of, shall we say, the bumping of heads, because I feel like we're going to pick stuff like, I picked that one too. So, so who would, I'm of a mindset. I can go first since this
is your year, man. Go for it. High school graduate, all that stuff. College graduate.
Which one day for another podcast, I'll tell you about that boring anticlimactic graduation night party or whatever that mess was. So
nephew Josh was how old around this time too?
I was born in 1980, October of 87.
Yeah.
So 6 months. So like 9 months.
Exactly. So I was 3 months old when I saw Coming to America. It really stuck with me.
I would pull it out, but I don't want to embarrass myself. It wouldn't be embarrassing nephew Josh. I'd be embarrassing myself. But I have a picture from my graduation week with nephew Josh, Janae, and Brandy, and mom, and everybody, and I'm literally this big with hair. So I'm not pulling it out from embarrassing myself. Well, where should we get this party started? I don't want to be. Let's see. Oh, I know.
I predict that at some point in your top four, in your 4 picks, because you get the 4th one today.
Oh, cool.
Somewhere in there is gonna be a song from like Anita Baker's "Giving You the Best." It's gonna be an Anita Baker song from that album somewhere in there. Because I know how you feel about Anita Baker.
Damn it! I've been outed again.
Yeah, I know. Because that was a big deal. I remember when she came out with that follow-up to that Sweet Love Rapture.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And I was by that point I was in college and grown.
Okay, so yeah, because it came out in the fall.
It came out in the fall.
Fall '88. So,
Ooh,
go ahead, man.
Well, you know what? This might surprise you all if I can get it to play from the vaults.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got the two-step.
You've been praying, saying you want more. The sound is hype, and we're sure that you feel real good when you're part of a Kid and Play adventure.
I think it's time to make the floor burn.
Before the
What I'm
movies,
saying
people.
is, it's
Before
your
the
turn to
movies.
do things
Yeah.
We've always wanted to. Here's the jam
From
for
Kid and Play to you. Listen up to what I'm saying here, work it out. Oh, you ain't staying here.
troopers and troopettes should know this. Listen close, don't blow this chance.
To get next to the opposite sex, it means
If you ain't down, use the exit.
just like Brutus.
You always knew this.
On the strip, y'all.
We could do this.
My way. This symphony was composed by me. Now your reps in jeopardy. Like the kiss of death to my foes, MCs are falling like
Dominoes.
Suppose me, you must be a little crazy. Gonna unleash the sound and the fury. Hook up the mic real quick. It's a habit I just can't kick. And when I'm through getting loud, the crowd will be in ecstasy. The rush the stage to get next to me. Let me pick the girl that's giving sex to me. It's time to collect my feet. Plays by my side, ripping, running, sticking, gunning. The boy's still stunning. Heard, don't
All right, we at the 133.
Give me the beat and I'll pump this my way.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm right on beat. All right, I got to say this real quick. That is before the movies, before the, stratospheric fame of Kid and Play. And I think what often happens, which happens with so many artists who get to that level of fame, is that you forget about the things that they did before they got to that plateau. And it's like, it's so easy for some people to write off like, oh, they soft, they this, they that. No, them dudes, them dudes was,
Them dudes put in work.
yeah.
Yeah, because that was man, back then, like you couldn't, because stuff came out, it was odd, like like now, like release days, with Tuesdays and Thursdays. But then it was like, like this was still the early days of MTV, and they didn't have credits. You just they just ran videos. You're like, oh my God, who is this? And then you go to the store and you're like looking, and you didn't see, like you see like a 12-inch maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, say, and it was like gaps in between, like when stuff came out, and like I'm thinking the only thing that kind of gave us a clue as to who those guys may be was Herbie was in the video.
Yep, that's right.
Like Herbie was in the video, or maybe they were in, if you paid attention, and
they were in Tramp the year before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like you said, if you paid attention, yeah, that's right.
You're like, oh, that's the dude that was in the Tramp video, and if you had like if you were rich enough to have a VHS recorder, or, you know what I'm saying? Because back then everyone didn't have one yet, so like you were lucky. You were lucky if you have a video recorder and tapes.
Yeah, and tapes.
You balling. You was balling in 87, 88. You had that thing, but man.
And the joint wasn't fully grown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he had the high top, but it was kind of low in the video.
That's when high tops, was starting to kind of, kind of come into the joint. Like, get a high top.
Keep a fresh cameo cut every day, but that's Kane.
Yeah.
But somebody's gonna pick Kane.
Probably.
Yeah, I know.
Probably. But yeah, man, good choice, man.
That was fun. That was just fun. Just light.
I've never heard a Kid and Play song before in my life.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
But I understand. No, I understand.
First time ever.
So you just knew them as, house party dudes, and
I knew they were rappers. They gave me the feel of Will Smith.
Sure.
They were rappers turned movie stars, actors, So I never went back, didn't even check for them, didn't.
Man, listen. Tell you how big those dudes were, man. I'm gonna tell you how big those dudes were. They were, if you, like not giving away anyone's choices or anything. But and see, the year that they came out, like NWA had come out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they were like two polar opposites, but and Hammer had come out that same year later.
Yes, that's right.
Later in the year.
Yep.
So
that's right.
So they like, just off the strength of what they did on their first album, and then a host of like a video, like a BET moment on like thing, they got the House Party movie. Then off the strength of that, they got a Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And all they had done really was maybe 2 albums. And a soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? So like they were like, people were really hey, like them dudes, man.
And
like at that time, yeah.
And the trip part about it, as you mentioned, nephew Josh, so Rob, it's a little circle or loop or something that they all kind of fall into, because originally House Party was for Jazzy Jeff, DJ Jazzy Jeff, and the Fresh Prince.
Really?
I mean, that's who they were thinking. But then, like you said, Kid and Play gets the movie, they get the cartoon, and what happens with, Will Smith and, and Jazz to a certain extent.
They get a TV show.
They get a TV show. And they're all on NBC. Because the Kid and Play cartoon was on NBC, and MC Hammer's cartoon was on NBC. And so an hour of black males in cartoon form on television. Who would have thunk it?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what happened.
Well, if you must listen to a Kid and Play joint, go to the first one. I know the first one is probably there.
And there was another one I could have picked that was from this year that I didn't pick because it would have been pretty obvious. But like rolling with Kid and Play is like a go-go.
Okay, back when videos were fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were awesome. Yeah, it's a cool video for that, and it was a go-go joint. Which was really cool because Herbie Lovebug had a real affinity for go-go music. His friend Ron Lawrence, who was at Howard, turned him on. And it just started to get into the music.
Yeah, because they had done the Salt and Pepper Shake Your Thing, which that year.
Yep, that's right. That's right. I was like, did I choose that one?
I didn't pick that one, but
I'm kidding.
I don't want to offend any ladies out there.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm joking. It's not picking no female artists.
I love there's gonna be women on this. I love the ladies.
Yeah.
I don't know if those ladies love me.
I'm gonna let Nephew Josh go next.
Yeah. Nephew Josh, what you got?
Okay, so at the ripe old age of 3 months old,
ripe old age.
I feel like ripe old, right? I feel like I have to, for my age, I have to play some Bobby Brown. Like I have to.
Oh, nice.
Okay. All right. No diss to the musicians on here. But, how I grew up, Bobby Brown was a big part of.
I
love Bobby Brown
and culture. I'm picking Rock With You though. I like the wholesome-ish. I like wholesome-ish Bobby Brown. So I pick Rock With You.
Oh wow, dude, that's a great pick.
Yeah.
And please know that when I went to that school over in the mountain, I had a bunch of cassettes with me, but this was one, and I wore it out. And till the Don't Be Crew came off.
It's smudged off. Got smudged.
Yeah, the smudge. Let's bring it down.
Yeah, get your LB on.
I'm not sleeping, I'm grooving. Woo! Woo! And you know what? They was still late 89 going into 90 milking singles off that album. Because I remember they had there's a video for Rock With You, but it didn't come out till like late 89. And they used to play that, they used to play that joint on Midnight Love, and I'd be like, man,
they still playing this?
This is kind of, I love that song.
Still playing it. Shout out to Kenny Babyface Edmonds.
Yo, you know what's a trip up well, which calls on that? Yeah, LA. It's both, I don't know if Daryl's
he probably I think Daryl helped write it.
That's what I thought. Yeah. I was just gonna say real quick, but I want to ask Soul Brav, like, your thoughts about it, like what and like you said, it's nice, Bobby.
Yeah.
But one of the things that was tripping me out, like listening to it, was that, I mean, clearly it's the same, and I don't know what they were using, but it's the same drum machine, obviously, that they use for
and
don't
keyboard
be
patches. Yeah, keyboard patches.
But to hear the claps, it's kind of funny because it's like it's almost the same pattern as "Don't Be Cruel," but they kind of. But yeah, what about this song? Like what?
So I like a lot of Bobby Jones. I like a lot of New Edition. So this one specifically, I think it's like it's still kind, like I said. So I like the kind of, we were talking about Chris Brown and his early stuff. I like his like non-intrusive type sounds.
That's cool.
So I take that one for that reason. I do want to say this though, like doing this podcast with you guys has made me listen to music differently. So I'm listening for as more for a musician's ear. So I'm listening background what's going on. I think that's a good thing to kind of learn. I don't know what I can gift to you guys, but
plenty.
But maybe taking off your musician's ear every now and then is a good thing to do. Because and it's funny because when you prefaced it, when you say, "Oh, it's just Bobby," I'm like, dude, I like, and that's the thing. Like, I think that's one thing. I can be a snob, but I was just having this conversation about like what I think about like hit songs and different things, and I was saying like what I think the problem is for musician types often, and I won't say the genre that we come across a lot that does this, but you can only rely on your musicianship but so much. You know what I mean? Like, it's a gift, it's a beautiful thing, but you need people to listen to what you're doing. And sometimes people just are so into their musicianship that they forget to make that connection. So like an album like this or a song like that, like Rock With You, or the entire Don't Be Cruel, I can listen to that and I'm not even analyzing it. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I listen to it, I'm like, I just love this. Like, there's plenty, like there's a ton of stuff that I listen to that sometimes people would be like, you listen to that? Yeah, I love it. Because it just connects. It's just great. So,
I was going to ask that as musicians, do you guys analyze everything you hear? Like, are you listening for
yes and no. I guess it would depend on the context in which you're listening. Like if you're listening to learn for a gig, then of course you're listening to, I got to learn this song or say what have you. And then sometimes I'm sure it happens with Ivan, I know it does with me, where you subconsciously, like they changed here, or, like the background is doing this, or like, kind of depends on like the number of times I think you hear a song, because sometimes you can hear a song like first time you're like, yeah, that's cool, and then the next time you're like, oh wow, I didn't realize, let's say, the background vocals were doing this in that song, or sometimes is very rare now. Like that, say you hear a song and you're like, oh yeah, that bass line is just it's just dope. I mean, but it happens. Like that happened with me with Fine China. Like the first thing I heard, I was just like, wow, that is a like the bass line just
cool too.
Stood out. Yeah, like it was something different. I was just like, wow, like that's that's really different. I mean, so I guess it kind of depends on what the song is. I mean, like sometimes like you'll just catch it and then like you're like, wow, that's just a really well written song. Like kind of catch it, just one of those things. So.
Yeah, and like I said a couple of episodes back, I mean, yeah, I listen for different reasons. I mean, some days I'm just listening and I'm like, just entertain me. Like seriously, like I don't, and so I gravitate to the stuff that makes, just how it makes you feel. So if it makes me feel good, I'm like, oh, I'm loving this.
Right.
And so that's why I said like this stuff like a couple of podcasts back about like OT Genesis, because it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
But then there are other people kind of in that lane that I'm like, I'm not listening to that because the message. But like if you're just being a troll, that's appealing to me. I like trolls.
That's my default. That's my default feeling. Is if I'm listening to music, I want to feel love. I want to feel.
That's what. I mean, man, listen. I mean, some cats, they get moved by, like I know, like 1,000 notes per minute. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some do.
Some do, yeah. Some do.
Some do, and no knock against them, but but there are people who don't.
Yeah.
And say, sometimes like you gotta just, like you said, it's like a feeling, because this was the I like remember, because I mean, like Ivan, like, man, we saw these 5 dudes, 6 dudes get introduced to us as, basically kids in high school.
They were kids.
They were 9th graders, 10th graders in high school. And then this year they both put out releases where they were adults. And it was so, for a lot of, I hope I don't make anybody mad, but I was never really that big on like either faction, like Bobby or like New Edition.
No, not until this time.
Yeah, but
this what made me a fan.
But I had classmates and family members, and I knew kids in high school, who were just big on them. And so, this was they would have been at this age college graduates. Let me just put that, in a frame of mind, like 21, 22 years old. So like they were at that young adult phase. And so this particular song spoke to a lot of people in that phase. You know what I'm saying? I mean, say, like in that realm of, my man Crush Monday, who, is now 21 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, man, they, the guy that I had on my teenage wall, like for some girls now, he's like an adult. So he's going to sing about adult things. And so, it was because, like, like, I'm sure Ivan tell you, I think prior to then, I think ladies, when they looked at certain people, entertainers, they were grown men. It was like,
they were straight up.
It was no question. It was no question that Keith Sweat in '87 was a 25-year-old guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was no question about that. But then in '88, you had a dude like, like you had dudes like Bobby and like New Edition and like Al B. Sure, who were like, okay, they're older than the average high school student, but they aren't that far out of reach because they're like 21, 22, 18, 19. So,
that was a great pick.
Yeah.
I'm to go in my bag.
Uh-oh.
I'm aiming to take songs out of your bag like you did in my life.
Payback is
starting next pick. I'm at you next pick.
Okay.
What you got for us, the Ricker?
Well, unfortunately, my pick is not mellow.
Oh, okay.
Not cool rock, and it's not hip hop. I'm gonna take the political thing with this one, man. And these brothers, just how I got put on like to man these cats was because I was primarily I started out. I think I told you before. I started out playing like guitar.
Yes,
and
I remember
so
that. Yeah, that's right.
There weren't many brothers out front.
No,
that you know name worthy. Playing guitar, and so you kind of had to. Now like I know somebody will say, "Wait a minute, what are you talking about?" I mean, yes, I could go back in the catalog and pull some Cameo, like Charlie Singleton and like Al McKay and all those guys, but they were primarily R&B. They were strictly R&B. But in terms of current new stuff, you had to wait for the new Prince record. And late 87, early 88, I came across this Guitar World like magazine, and they had done a Jimi Hendrix special.
Nice.
And in this, and like one of the pieces in the magazine, they talked about this guy was doing a piece on Jimi Hendrix. He was speaking about him, and his name was Vernon Reid. And I kept seeing this brother. I was like, man, okay. I saw him in like a spread, like in Rolling Stone, like modeling. I know some clothes. They said he had this band. I was like, oh, cool.
I've heard of
And
that
then he was one of the founders of the Black Rock Coalition. And apparently these brothers were doing rock music. And at this particular time, that was not a viable route to go.
No, not then.
Yeah. And so, but like these brothers were committed, and so I had been anxiously awaiting their release. Matter of fact, at the time I bought their album, my cousin was with me, and he bought It Takes a Nation of Millions.
Wow, that's okay.
Come to find out, Vernon Reid played on
that's
It Takes a Nation of Millions. She played on like She Watches Channel Zero.
Yeah, that's right.
But the Living Color song that I picked, sorry for some people out there who are thinking I'm a big cult of personality. That's not it. I mean, that'll be it if I ever can't get this song, pulled up. But the song I picked for them was a song called like, "What's Your Favorite Color?" And so on their album, which was it was pro rock and it was pro black at the same time.
Absolutely.
They had some, like Malcolm X sample speeches and then some other stuff, man. But yeah, like those dudes, man. And so that kind of, man, shout out to those guys. Cause even like, I know today they don't get the credit that they deserve.
No.
For, and they've been kind of, doing their thing, man. And Vernon Reid has been very outspoken about, like the fact that, culturally, like we created that genre, but we allowed some other people to take it over and make it seem like it was theirs. But when in actuality, I know Little Richard is the king of rock and roll. And so Vernon Reid was, very instrumental in that, man. Like outspoken. He was on the he's done a few Prince panels. I know.
Wow.
Yeah, I know the Dirty Mind thing. But yeah, man, Vernon Reid is and he was known in like the fusion world and stuff like that, and Corey Glover, and then Will Calhoun on drums. If you can't pull that song up, you could do probably Funny Vibe, I guess.
Okay, but let's see if I can get What's Your Favorite Color from the vault.
What's your favorite color, baby? What's your favorite color, baby? Living color. 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 Well, is it red? That's what I said. Well, is it What's your favorite color, baby? Living color. What's your favorite color, baby? Living color. What's your favorite color, baby?
Color catalog and bonus gift certificate by return mail right.
Yo, you know what's so wild? I'm echoing. Okay, now I'm not. You know what's wild about that? What's wild about that is that it's rock. You know, we don't call rock, but that's like straight James Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, Rick, you dropped. That's what I think happened. Your mic dropped. There. All right, bring it back in. Try. Yeah, I think I can hear you now.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, you good. No, you good. Yeah, but it's like that's James Brown.
Yeah. That song actually goes into one of their like political songs called like it's like Which Way to Your America. And so, you know, like in the song, it's kind of like, yeah, you know, like, your America, you know, meaning like what you see on TV is not what I see. You know, like that's not what I say my window.
And so, not to cut you off, but I have to say this. I have to say this. And it pains me because I'm like, what happened to us? Like as a people, although I'm kind of putting it on the media, so that's not necessarily people. But this is no lie. The Ricker can back me up on this. Don't you know that in the year 1988, 89, you could go on BET and literally see either Open a Letter to a Landlord, Cult of Personality, any of these Living Color videos, right along with the hip hop joints, right along with the R&B joints. And I'm like, that would never happen today.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, man. Matter of fact, I can't tell you, I think, man, I think the last of those brothers, you know, I mean, meaning like Living Color, like Fishbone. Yeah. I think Lenny Kravitz. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's and shoot, man, Lenny's older than us. So, you know, like he came out like 88, 89, like 89. So, I mean, I can't think of anyone. That young brother who was on, he was in a Spike Lee Netflix, like She's Gotta Have It, played the guitar player. Like he was the son of one of the main characters. Yeah. And he was like into it. But other than that, man, yeah, like I don't, program directors, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Money. It's good money.
I think somebody was like, hey, yeah, let's, you know, like get some advertisement sales, sponsorship.
Right. Oh, let's bridge a gap. Nephew Josh Sobroff, my bad. Are you hip to Living Color or
not at all?
Okay.
Not at all. You guys are blowing my mind here.
Man, yeah. I would recommend this. Listen to the first album, which is called Vivid. You know, they got a very cool video for the song Funny Vibe. And Funny Vibe
yes,
for you know, like, you know, for all of us people of color, you know that vibe when someone's, I mean, following you in the store for no reason, or you can't catch a cab, or, you know, like you're walking somewhere and someone just happens to cover their purse.
Yes.
Wow.
Like what? They have another good video for it's off their second album. It's called Elvis is Dead.
Yeah, oh man, that's one of my favorites. Yeah. Oh, I love that one.
and just to give you some context, it's not to, you know, kind of praise the fact that, you know, like, man, another human being is deceased. No. But at this time, you know, and, you know, Ivan can I mean, tell you, it was not uncommon for you to be in the grocery store and you look to the news rack and you see Elvis sighting somewhere. Like every 2 months or every month, he'd be, yes, Elvis was seen in Target.
It's basically Tupac. It's like Tupac.
That puts it there.
But yeah, kind of the same thing. So, but
definitely.
But yeah. But yeah, man. Check out Funny Vibe and yeah, Elvis is dead, man. Yeah.
There's a guy. I don't know if you guys know Thundercat.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Thundercat does some cool stuff. He doesn't make serious songs, but I think he's a very good musician.
Oh, God. Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yeah. He and Mono Neon.
Yeah.
And all those. Yeah, those dudes.
Yeah, man. Vernon Reed. And see the thing, just I mean, kind of bridge your like man connection with Vernon Reed and the hip hop. He played on the first two like Public Enemy albums. He played on Sophisticated B on the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then he played on It Takes a Nation of Millions with when she watches Channel Zero. And so like like he was like they had some kind of like connection. I mean like Ivan said, like you could like go to BET at that time and see I think their video being played, and it was in between Freddie Jackson getting played. Like like it wasn't uncommon. I mean, man, we laugh about it, but it was not uncommon.
It was not,
like you would see like Cult of Personality played, and then like follow that up with like Whitney Houston or something. Like and like you wouldn't blink. It would just be like, oh yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, like Vernon Reed. I know now their bass player is a guy by the name of Doug Wimbish, and Doug Wimbish did the early like Sugar Hill Gangs.
Yep. Yeah, and he played on all that stuff. Yeah, all the Sugar Hill stuff. Yep.
Yeah, he played on early. I know that Sugar Hill stuff. Like Will Calhoun, which is the drummer. He's what I'm saying, big session player. Played on like a lot of stuff. So yeah, like they like those dudes still kicking it, man. Like they're still touring. But the bass player then was a guy named Mud Skillings, and he's still doing his thing. But yeah, man, they came out. And like that was the summer of fashion moment. This was the summer of
biker shorts.
The year of biker shorts. Everybody, you had you talk about. I know before cross colors and all that stuff. Everybody had to get a pair of biker shorts.
Don't go to the party.
If you think women in spandex now was something, is even dudes was wearing like biker shorts with shorts over top.
Yeah, I was like, bro, put that away. Let's put that away, bro.
It's like the biker short phenomenon.
Yeah, it was.
It was everywhere, bro. It was everywhere. Was everywhere. Like oh man. So I mean, girls were wearing them with the like under the cutoff jeans, just so they could wear the cutoff jeans. It was like, it was like, look at the Salt and Pepper and Shake Your Thing video. You just
all up in there. Now I have a question. I'm gonna go to pick two, Mick Pick 2, and one of our sponsors. So who's about to be mad at me? Well, no, I don't think anybody's gonna be mad at me about this one. I feel like somebody else has this artist, but I don't know if anybody else has this song.
Okay.
So I'm gonna play it, and hopefully I didn't go into anyone else's bag for the song. Let's see.
Oh, LB. LB.
Oh, good, I'm safe.
LB. Let you go.
So, all right. So, let me tell you what it is, because I know somebody's questioning my snobbery. But I'm gonna tell you what it is and what it has always been with me and the work of Al B. Shore, Kyle West, etc., etc. These are, in my opinion, just in my opinion, but these are very, very, very well produced records.
Yeah,
That's what I like about them. They are very, like, it's just stuff that happens in the arrangements and, you know, just kind of the way that they kind of weave the music together and all the interplay. And there's always like, well, at least for this album and for Sexy Verses, Private Times and the whole nine, I didn't really get into as much, but for those, the first and the third album, the other thing that really super appeals to me is that they play interesting chords. Like if you at least play some chords with some color, that's going to get my attention. Yeah. Now, I said that, but I always contradict myself because we all do. So having said that, I mean, I can listen to a P-Funk song that's one chord. Like,
yeah,
so
just one groove.
That's for a different reason. But this is it's just beautiful. It's lush, and you know, as an 18-year-old who thought they were whatever and trying to get the ladies, and just like, oh, you got the new album? Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Well, that was the. I don't know if y'all did this back in your day. Cool, Rob, but Ivan, now you remember this probably when you call a girl on the phone. Okay, I got.
Yeah.
You got this joint playing in the background. What you doing? I'm just chilling.
Oh, just cooling out, you know.
I'm just chilling. What you doing out? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I just got it. Yeah.
That joint. Slow jam mixtapes was the shot back then, Jack. You had your joint, you just played on the phone, or you ride in the car with your girl. You just I gotta take the hip hop out. I gotta put this in.
Yeah, exactly.
We used to do that. We used to do that with our voicemails. So
yeah.
Right. On a voicemail.
but
all right.
We had that joint. And now the messed up thing was like, man, like you try to call, hoping she answered the phone, like her mom or somebody answered the phone. Like, let's move in the back. Like,
no.
That joint is man. So, man, but to your point though, man, I will say this. I know, to your music snobbery, you know, like one thing that we tend to, you know, people may tend to overlook, like when you said, you know, well produced things, you know, like these dudes were music fans. What I mean by like music fans is that it's not that the other cats aren't, but they were fans of guys that did great quality work.
Mm-hmm.
So then when it came time for them to do great quality work, they tried to emulate that. I think what has happened is that we get so fascinated with I made this beat on my phone or like in my room, and then you think, well, yeah, it sounds like that. You know,
literally.
and so like, you know, like you said, like when you hear those chords, you know, it's like, you know, like these are two cats, you know, meaning Al B and Kyle West. They grew up listening to like Stevie Wonder and you know, other cats like that. So like that's what they were pulling from. And so like when it came time, you know, for them, I'm sure there's a demo version of this song that sounds completely different,
without a doubt,
than the finished version. And so, you know, I think unfortunately, I know like today we, you know, too many cats or we accept the demo version of something, and it's like, no, that's just to get you in the door.
I was just railing about that yesterday.
Like when we give you the resources, fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like make it better than what you did. So, you know, and and that's not a knock against somebody who like, hey, look, I made this beat on my phone, or like I did this. If that gets you to the door, or man, get you the job, then you should, okay, let me, clean this up, or as you say, like once you make something, then you got to put the seasoning on it, or like as Turtles and Jimmy Jam say, the chili sauce.
Yeah,
you got to like sweeten the joint up. And so, I think that's what they did. Like having heard Al tell his story now, it's kind of like, they just kind of, like they grew up listening to certain people, and then when they, like their time came, they fixed it up. Because I'm sure, like the final product is not what they initially came with.
Oh no.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Uptown Records, I'm pretty sure that's not what they had in the end. But like when they got the funds and in the time, like the personnel, I think behind it, because even the engineer probably was like, well, hey, I could do this. And it's like, oh yeah, yeah, let's keep this. Yeah, man, make those finger snaps louder. You know what I'm saying? Like, the country was better with that. Yeah. I totally get it.
Yes. So Brav.
All right. I am on my second pick here.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you guys are affected more by this song than I am, but my song is Microphone Fiend.
Oh, you telling me?
Okay.
I knew it would happen.
I'm grabbing from bags. I'm taking from bags.
Hey man, I ain't mad at that choice.
Oh no, go ahead.
I like this song because it has like so now in our rap world, the drug references are huge, So this is the first song that I can think of that I know of that has like comparing loving to rap to selling or using drugs or being a drug abuse, which is like prevalent in every rap song you hear now. Right. But to think about guys doing this in '88 is like, it's crazy to me. And then this kind of, I think it's put Rakim in like a real serious place in a lot of people's ears. So so that's why.
Woo! Name that. Well, we'll do it when we finish. Woo!
I was a fiend before I became a teen. I melted microphones instead of cones of ice cream. Music orientated, so when hip-hop was originated, fitted like pieces of puzzles, complicated. Cause I grab the mic and try to say yes, y'all. They try to take it and say that I'm too small. Cool. Cause I don't get upset. I kick a hole in the speaker, pull a plug, then I jet back to the lab without a mic to grab. So then I add all the rhymes I had, one after the other one. Then I make another one to diss the opposite, then ask if the brother's done. I get a craving like I fiend for nicotine, but I don't need a cigarette. Know what I mean? I'm raging, ripping up the stage, and don't it sound amazing? Cause every rhyme is made and thought of, cause it's sort of an addiction, magnetized by the mixing. Vocals, vocabulary, and verses just stuck in. The mic is a Drano, volcanoes erupting, rhymes overflowing, gradually growing. Everything is written in the code so it can coincide. My thoughts are God. 48 tracks to slide, the invincible microphone fiend Rakim. Spread the word, cause I'm N-E-F-F-E-C-T, a smooth operator operating correctly. But back to the problem, I got a habit, you can't solve it. Silly rabbit, the prescription is a hypertone. That's heroin, I fiend for a microphone like heroin. Soon as the bass kicks, I need a fix. Give me a stage and a mic and a mix, and I'll put you in a mood. Or is it a state of unawareness? Beware, it's the reanimator. A menace to a...
Oh man, we could, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I clearly remember. I clearly remember coming home from school like that day, seeing that video, being like, "Oh yeah."
Because wasn't What You Call It the first single from this album? Wasn't Follow
the Leader?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, Follow the Leader was first. Yeah. Because he had man, that was a great pick. Because if I'm not mistaken, that fall was when their first Paid in Full had first come out.
Oh, fall of '87, yeah.
Yep. And so like this was like almost like a complete year later that it came out with that joint. Yeah.
Yeah, because they basically had like almost 3 summers in a row. Because the 2 singles, 86, Eric B. is President, and My Melody, that was 86. Then you come around and then you have Paid in Full, which is like the album, like you said, 87.
Yeah, I Ain't No Joke and all that. Yeah.
And then it's in the late early fall, 88, somewhere in there. And I remember when Fall of Leader came out. Yeah.
Yeah, early fall.
Yeah, but Microphone Fiend.
Yeah.
Average White Band, Schoolboy Crush.
Yeah, about the Schoolboy Crush. Yeah.
Man, come on.
Yeah. I think Nas sampled it in one of his songs.
I believe he did. You know what the trip song is, that the song you just picked has references to 3 of the people that we've played already. So they're intertwined, because he said In Effect Mode, basically, which is the I'll Be Sure album. The Schoolboy Crush sample, Bobby Brown uses that later on one of his joints on the Bobby album. And there was one other thing when it was playing that I was thinking of. Oh man, I can't remember. But it was another artist, and he made a reference to, and I was like, "Dad, this all up in what we doing." Rock him.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember this, Ivan, but we did a gig at one time with if you remember, I know my man Mike Dempsey used to rap.
Yeah,
and we would, and then we did that groove. We get microphone thing. We did, and the crowd was like, because we were in it was like a hip hop fest or something.
That's right. At Alley Cats.
Yeah, Alley Cats. Yeah, and we were like the only band, literally. Yeah. Like when we came in, it was like, yo, they got instruments.
The baby roots. Those are the baby
and we
roots.
started playing that joint, and people just like lost it. Like, oh, everybody, oh. That joint, that was a great choice, man.
Very God MC.
Yeah.
Maybe
your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Hey man.
Hey man, yeah. I mean, man, so your context was like, you were absolutely right, because at that point, maybe slightly a month after that was when like NWA came out. You know, like people kind of got hip to him. But prior to that, like that was probably the last of the in like 88 terms, you know, kind of moving forward to maybe some years later, where tunes weren't, you know, like referencing I'm a thugged out dude, or you know, I'm this, and even then, like he wasn't talking about I got a fat gold chain. He was just, you know, like you know, it was kind of like a love for hip hop thing, like I'm a microphone fiend. You know? So that was you know, that was clearly like I remember witnessing that cultural shift.
Yes, sir. So what's the culture shift you're gonna bring us?
Oh man, say you know what? I'm gonna go some. I'm gonna do something odd again. I'm gonna take an odd change, man. I'm gonna go with one of my probably one of my most slept on, I know, duets from that year, probably over time, man. And this cat is like he is like R&B legacy, but Gerald Levert and Mickey Howard did this duet.
That's what love
is? What love is. Yeah.
Man, excuse me.
Yeah. I'm just gonna kind of go against my grain. You know what I'm saying? Pick one of those from
I got this. I got that.
I said, what would Knife one to say? What, from the Fast Auntie Lounge?
Yo, let's check this joint out. Wow.
You know, yeah.
Wow. They had a video and everything for this.
Yeah.
Mickey. This is definitely cookout music.
Yeah.
Mm.
You're special part of me. I tell you far beyond what one can see. Keep on loving me this way. Forever in my heart, you'll always stay, baby.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I put that on my list too, man. I did.
No way.
I swear, because I had heard maybe what Baby Mine.
Yeah. Oh, what a great yes.
Right. So I went back and I saw it released, and I went back and listened to this album, and then literally last 2 weeks ago when I was looking for this, I heard the song for the first time. I was like, oh, it's awesome.
Right. Wow, check that out.
weren't they like dating or something?
Yes, they were.
Yeah,
they were.
Yeah. We didn't know that then. But
yeah, we didn't know that then.
we didn't know that then.
But they were. Yeah.
But yeah, like I remember when this video was getting airplay, like Donnie Simpson. I think he interviewed like one of them. He was talking. I guess it was her because it was her album.
Yeah.
And he was saying that, like at that time there weren't like a lot of duets in R&B.
No.
Like there used to be.
Right.
Me like Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, Donnie, and say Roberta, and so he was saying that this was like like a very, very good duet. He was like, and encouraging her that he and she should do more stuff together because it came across very well.
It was very natural.
It was
very natural.
I mean, man, like I'm like at heart I'm an R&B dude. Like I'm a sucker for good R&B, man. And so this was probably one of the best R&B ish joints.
Yes. No, seriously.
of that year.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. I won't take us too far afield. It'll take me 15 seconds. But Atlantic Records. So this was on Atlantic Records. Mickey was on Atlantic. Levert was on Atlantic. And if you know anything about the history of Atlantic Records, they were built on R&B. Like it was like really one of the first R&B labels. Jerry Wexler, who was one of the who came in, actually coined the phrase R&B, rhythm and blues in 1948. So there was this long history at the beginning of Atlantic where they were an R&B label. But then they started, they made money, and then they got into rock and they got into jazz. And by the time you get to the 1970s, Atlantic is more of a rock label, But this very interesting thing happens in the mid 80s to about 1994, which is it stakes its claim back in R&B.
In Vogue, Kwame,
right.
Mickey Howard, LeVert, Chucky Booker.
And the last great artist, in my opinion, well, not last great, but one of the last very, very prominent artists in R&B that Atlantic has is a 14-year-old Brandy Norwood. Brandy was on Atlantic. So you have this, like, the work of Sylvia Rhone and all these people. So I say all that to say that there was one time in my life where I had designs. I thought I was go and pursue a PhD in music history, and what the dissertation, what I was going to focus my research on is this kind of back to the roots. Atlantic becoming this R&B powerhouse again.
Oh, okay.
Like the why, talk to seminal people involved with it. What was the company's idea behind this? How did they penetrate the marketplace? Because it was a real thing. Like it was legit. All this stuff is now. Never mind. I'm not even gonna say nothing about Atlantic in 2020. I love all the labels. All three of them. That's all it is. It's three. I mean, majors. I love all three majors. You all are great.
You up, Ivan?
Huh? I know it's me. Brother. It's me with my lucky number 3.
I think I know what you can play.
Oh, word? I think I'm going to surprise everybody, even the 12 people watching. I'm going to surprise them. And in fact, I'll give you all a hint. I'm going to give you a hint. And the hint is, well, it's kind of a hint. Let's say quarantine.
Quarantine.
But it's quarantine, but the person is not on this record. but they're down with this record, if you know what I mean. Think about being down with the.
DJ Doc, you know he's down with us. D Square, he's down with us. Keyboard Money Mike is down with us. ICU, you know he's down with us. D Nice and
Oh, there he is. D Nice is down with us.
She's down with us. Just Ice and DMX, they're down with us. My manager Mo, he's down with us. Castle D, boy, he's down with us. DJ Red Alert, he's down with us. RoboCop, boy, he's down with us. Making funky music is a must. I'm number one. People still taking rapping for a joke, a passing hope or a phase with the rope. Sometimes I choke and try to believe when I get challenged by a million MCs. I try to tell them we're all in this together. My album was raw because no one would ever think like I think and do what I do. I stole the show and then I leave without a clue. What do you think makes up a KRS? Concisive teaching or very clear speaking? Ridiculous bass, aggravating treble, rebel, renegade, must stay paid. Not by financial aid, but a rate of hits, causing me to take long trips. I'm the original teacher of this type of style, rocking off beat with a smile or a smirk or a chuckle. Yes, some are not up to BDP posse, so I love to step in the jam and slam.
I'm not Superman.
Because anybody can or
should be able to rock a turntable, grab the mic, plug it in. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, I had to do that because one, nobody was expecting that, I don't think.
No, I wasn't. I thought you was gonna pick Young MC, but
you know what? See, first of all, where we was from, we didn't even mess with the West Coast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real about that, except for NWA a little bit.
Yeah.
And Easy a little bit. But man, like for real, I'm being for real now. Like, Cats came on the video and they had a Jerry curl, or it was a tough. It was a tough
hard sale.
Yeah, man. Sale. Like, I don't really mess with that. Like, but BDP, KRS, and rest in peace, Scott LaRock. What it was that was like the posse era. You just had these crews, this big crews, rap crews of people just affiliated. And so to hear that kind of music and you're a young kid and you got your, running buddies or whatever, it's just like you just listen to that. Getting, you just get, I can't tell you how many times I went to play basketball somewhere and that's what was playing on a loop.
Back then, because now, like you alluded to earlier, like hip hop is so mainstream now. Then the only way you heard it were through your friends or like on the back of the bus ride to and from school, or somebody's car or somebody's house. Like you didn't. It wasn't being played on the radio. Maybe Friday night for like an hour or two, 10 to 12.
Not during the day. Couldn't hear that.
Like you didn't hear it. Like the videos, like they didn't have that big of a budget, so like some of them weren't even making videos. It was just like only a few got to make videos. So it was literally a like word of mouth thing. Because even the publications, like you had like Right On really didn't embrace it like that. Like they had to have Word Up.
right.
And that was mostly pinup posters. It was like, like very few articles. So it was kind of like, stuff was really like hand to mouth. Like even like you said, like even with like NWA, their first video was Express Yourself. But that was months. It was like months after everyone had kind of circulated at the police and Easy Does It and all of that. It was like, even with like the Rakim thing, it was, like they had I know a video for I Ain't No Joke, a video for
Follow the Leader,
and then Follow the Leader. But that was after everyone had circulated like so much of their
Yeah,
stuff,
that been
man.
for a while. Yeah.
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 It was
Yeah.
it was tough, man.
Yeah. Peace. And it came full circle because in 1992 I got to open for Boogie Down Productions.
Boogie Down.
imagine.
Oh man.
Yeah. And yes, KRS is a big dude. That's all I gotta say. Like, he came in the green room. I was like, oh, they weren't playing. Like, these dudes are big, man. And I mean, you probably can't see it on the internet. I'm not small. So if you're like, oh, Soul Brav 3.
All right. I got let's see here. So I'm reaching directly into your bag. I don't know which way I want to go though. So I'm gonna play it safe, and I'm gonna go with "Good Love" by Anita Baker.
That's a direct hit.
Yeah, I want to make sure I get both bags.
Oh my gosh, you got the artist and you got the album.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's Anita Baker. No explanation needed. You know.
No.
Oh, he got your pick, Ivan.
He does.
He got your pick. He 2 for 2.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, he's snatching everybody today.
I told y'all, come out the bags today.
Man, I'm gonna have to go. See, and these people that rhyme with Spotify, that's not Spotify, so I had to go to another bag. You know what I mean? Like, what is all this? I'm sounding like Lord Jamar. You know what I mean? You know, Vlad. You know what I mean? Like. Not that I watch Vlad.
Oh man, his joints are funny though. His joints I mean, on that joint, like, yo, did the person know they said that? Man, so like, you just walked into that question.
So take us back to when you get out of jail. Yeah. Well, you know, Vlad. Like, dude. Oh, boo! I don't know. All right, move, person, out of my vault. Get out of my vault. Yeah, all right. Here we go to the music. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, man.
This desire never seems to go away. It's gonna take much more than hope to bring you close. I think I'll pray. I hear you say you've got a lot to give up. And there is so much more this heart of mine can take. If what you have to bring to me is positive, you send it right away, right away. I wanna know what good love feels like. Good love, I want a love that's sure to stand the test of time. I wanna know what good love feels like. I wanna know morning, noon, and night, forever all my life. Good love, good love. Good love, good love.
It's Gary Taylor Jr.
Yeah,
Wrote that.
Nathan East on bass. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, she had a I think whoever her if that was her I mean idea, or like whomever, but they she always kept almost the same like rhythm section.
Yeah. Well, you know, did you ever hear that funny story that Greg Philligans tells?
About what?
You know, he played on Rapture.
Okay.
But you know, she wasn't, you know, he's playing on Rapture, excuse me, but she wasn't large.
Yeah.
So what happened was he's doing the session. I mean, that's his job. You know, you're doing your job. Yeah. But he was on the phone talking, and he didn't know she was around. He was like, "Yeah, I'm doing some session from some girl, Anita Baker."
Yeah, some singer.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah,
but I'm glad it worked out because he plays on.
Matter of fact, I think he played on all of them up to like
Rhythm of
compositions
Love.
and all that stuff, right?
He's definitely on compositions.
See, so he's on Giving You the Benefit. I mean, Giving You the Best of Me, and all that.
Giving You the Best I Got. He's on that.
Yeah,
play piano.
I mean, I would imagine because man, she kept it saying the Harvey Mason on drums, I think, and
wow,
and I think Nate East and all that. I think I do remember seeing same personnel kind of.
Yeah, for what you call it, that was all Detroit for compositions because Ricky Lawson, rest in peace.
He was on that. Okay,
yeah, he was on drums for that.
Well, then like I know Nathan East is on bass. Then so I know that.
Yeah. Oh, how do you your mama? In that random, I just say to my nephew, "Your mama." Not like how do you know this song?
I don't know. Once I get introduced to somebody, and Anita Baker was introduced to me a long time ago.
Yeah.
Then I'll dig through. I had a point in time where I was downloading discographies,
LimeWire or
this was the torrent days.
Yes,
I still have a Snoop Dogg
allegedly. The statute of limitations.
Allegedly, yeah. And then the hook has been reused by somebody. I don't know if it was Tribe or like I think
who did use that?
It might have been Tribe. So it's familiar. It sounds familiar before you hear it, which is good.
That's an excellent cut from an excellent album. Yeah, I was a weirdo. I mean, to think that an 18-year-old, 18-year-old dude
Nah, you weren't weird, dude. You was just. I mean, a lot of us were, but we just didn't tell nobody.
Right.
I mean, no, seriously. Like,
yeah, you're right. We didn't.
We didn't think like it wasn't lines drawn. You just, it was just you kind of just knew. All right, like I mean, there was a time and a place for certain stuff, and people just had music for certain, like for times and places. Right. I mean, like we made jokes about calling girls on the phone with slow music playing in the back, but it was at night.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was at night.
It was at night. So I mean, like you weren't gonna have, like BDP bumping, you know what I'm saying, in the background, or like you chilling riding home from work. Like you're not go, like if you might play some, like some rap stuff, but if your girl's in the car with you, you might I'm gonna mellow it out or something. So I mean, it was just.
I had to look around.
Oh yeah,
it's a confession time.
Oh.
Ultimately, it didn't work out, but that album, I got a wife out of that album.
Oh. so yeah,
it totally didn't work out.
Dude, like I mean, like you say that, but like I mean, 88.
Oh, that's for real.
Like 88, I got introduced. Yeah. Well, I got hip to David Sanborn.
Oh, dude.
And then the only reason why was because my dad was playing it, and on this particular album that he had, like come out in 88, he did a remake of "You Are Everything," which is the R&B classic song. And I knew the message. I was like, wow, that song sounds so familiar. It was catchy. And so when I looked at the credits, I saw a familiar name, which was Marcus Miller, which
bass player? No,
bass player who had done, a whole bunch of Luther stuff. He had wrote The Butt, which was a big hit that summer. You know what I'm saying? He had done Miles Davis. So it was like, oh, but it was just, again, like that was in the midst of Living Color, PE, all these other things. I mean, it was just, you just did it and you didn't realize that there had to be lines drawn or like, oh yeah, well, I can't like this or like this. It was just, it was black music and it was like, I can dig this. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. And shout out because everything on this podcast is Stevie related. Hey. So David Sanborn, Tuesday Heartbreak.
Yeah, Tuesday.
one of my jams there.
That's David on the jump.
And also too, again, to another cultural reference, I think this was when I, if I'm not mistaken, is when he had that show Sunday Night Music.
Oh, it is. Yeah, Night Music. Yep, sure is.
Night Music used to come on
same era. Yep.
1 a.m.
Yep.
It was like you had to set the VCR to record that thing. But yeah, and it was like a variety show just basically around music. It was just basically they had certain guests, and then at the end they jammed on the tune. I know the guests would do each their own tune. At the end, they all would come together for a collective jam. So it was cool.
Yes, sir. So what do you have for us, Ricker?
Man, okay. I'm going with my hip hop pick now. I don't think I went hip hop first too. And so I was having this discussion yesterday that this group duo is probably the most slept on in hip hop, but they had some bangers.
Oh, I know who this is.
And I put them, well, I didn't put them up against, but this particular meme I saw put them up against a hip hop favorite. And I was telling people that, the competition is actually closer than one might think. And so, and I'll just say it for the people who don't know. I saw this meme, I shared it, where they put, it was like a battle between Tribe Called Quest and EPMD.
Ooh.
And I said, I'm going to go with their first 4 albums because Tribe only did, 4, EPMD first 4. So I said, the first one, EPMD wins. Okay, the first album, I said the second 2 albums, second and third albums, Tribe wins. But the 4th album, EPMD wins. So all that to say, my pick is going to be You Got to Chill, because for those of us who remember the days of Kenwood radios, pull-out radios, when you would pull up, I don't care where you were, if you at the basketball, court, you at the skating rink, you was at the after party, you was somewhere, and you heard this tune. This tune was bumping out of somebody's kitted out, tinted out, Volkswagen, Rabbit, Jetta, something. You know what I'm saying? That joint used to just I think they were the first to use like Zap and like
and I was gonna say they were first to use Zap, and they were kind of like a bridge to the West Coast and back.
Yeah,
because they like stayed on their vibe,
joint, and they never get their just due, man. Like I'm like like you said, like when you mentioned 88 and then like hip hop,
oh man,
like EPMD was like they like people really, like they did an unsung on them and all that. And I don't think it did it justice, but when you look at, how like hip hop was, because they kept the lights on, man, at Def Jam, like for the early 90s, like it was kind of bleak for them. They had some bangers, like Headbanger, too, No Crossover and all those types of things. But before that, it was It's My Thing.
Yeah.
That's the Chill. You know what I'm saying? All that types of Please Listen to My Demo.
Oh, don't. With the Phaso sample. Man,
yeah.
All right. I'm going to play this and I'm going to go put my Chuck Taylors on. Hold on.
You got to chill.
Hey.
Relax your mind, let your conscience be free, and get down to the sounds of EPMD. But you should keep quiet while the MC rap. But if you're tired, then go take a nap. Or stay awake and watch the show I take, because right now
I'm about to shake and bake.
The ELICK is my name I spell. Thanks to the clientele, yo, I rock well. I'm not an MC who talking all that junk about who can beat who.
It sound like a pump.
I just get down
and I go for mine and say check 1, 2, and run down the line.
To the average MC,
I'm known as a Terminator.
Funky beat maker, New Jack Exterminator, destroying them
ploy. When your rhymes are not void, never sweating your girl. Why, pig?
Cause she's a schizoid.
When I'm on the scene, I always rock the spot. I grab the steel with the crown on top. In the beginning, I like to let my rhymes flow. And at 12, I press cruise control. Sit back and relax, let my rhymes tax. Maintain them C's while the doubly max. Always calm under pressure, no need to act ill. Listen when I tell you, boy, you got to chill. The personal computer information on rap. Like the BRZ, my kisses, I make it toes tap. I format the rhymes step by step, make them sound deaf to maintain my rap. Prepare to come off in case of a diss. Don't worry about the thing, cause we can do is I can turn the party out just by standing still. Make a lady scream and shout while the brothers act ill. Take total control of your body and soul. Pack a 9 in my pants when it's time to roll. I'm the PEEMDEE, and one thing I hate is a biting MC. When I enter the party, suckers always form a line. Then they ease the way up and try to bite my lines. I did thousands of shows, dish many faces, and deal with New Jack on the one-to-one.
Ooh, God, me.
You know what? In hindsight, I probably should have picked me. You got to, okay, you're a customer, but that works.
That pulls out all the 18-year-old me.
Yeah,
like all that rah-rah, all that aggression, all that just posturing like you're actually cool, like that. I want to put a bucket hat on, like right now.
Yeah, man, but think about it. You picked a Kid and Play song first.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, Too Hype. Okay, Nephew Josh picked, like Microphone Fiend. I picked EPMD. And like the same year, none of those songs sound similar. Like none of those, like none of those sound like similar. And in the midst of that, it was other stuff like hip hop.
Oh, we ain't even scratched the surface.
Yeah, I mean, coming out that was completely different, but it was just like it was kind of like one of those things. I guess like a firework. What do you call them? Sparkles with some explosions. Just stuff goes everywhere. It was like a whole lot was going on, and it was different. It was cool. It was like, man, look at this beautiful art, man, is being made. And you could dig it and not feel like, okay, I only like this particular type, so I can't like that type. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was like a creative. We've said this, probably had this argument like several times, but like, say the creativity then was just everywhere.
Yeah.
And then now it seems so limited to like, nah, you gotta,
just do this. Well, because they're doing it for the. They're doing it for the money. Like hip hop has become such a commodity. Like back then, everybody wanted to get paid, but it wasn't solely about that.
I want to get paid.
And think about the people who were actually putting out the records, because we're still in the era where it's really just independent labels, right? So Def Jam is the only one that's really got a big distribution deal with Columbia, but this final pick is a surprise, because these might be the cats that had another little kind of major label thing, even though it was a distribution kind of thing. And I don't think y'all would expect me to pick this either. This is why it's the day of surprise. So, and believe it or not, let's see how many picks I do. I did 3 in a possible 4. I sent them to Boston. Okay, so
yeah.
This is the bonus joint.
Yeah, it is.
So, how about this? I only did 1 R&B joint today.
You did.
Surprise me.
I see, exactly.
I just knew you was gonna pull Sade out your pocket.
And trust me, that's stronger than Pride Era.
Yeah.
Believe me. Yeah. I love that album.
Yeah.
But yeah, she didn't. I have to save Helen for another day. That's my.
Yeah, buddy. Just the title song alone on that one
man, look. See, let me see if I can find it. I know it's here. It's got to be here. Come on, man. I'm gonna surprise y'all. Oh yeah, I got the 45 on this one. Let's see.
He picking the biz, picking boogers.
Close. Same label.
Oh, Kane, Raw AW.
Yes, sir.
AW.
am R.A.W., a terrorist. Here to bring trouble to phony and C's. I move on to C's. Another rapper with ease. My apex when others are below. Nothing but a milliliter. I'm a kilo, second to none. Making MCs run, so don't try to step to me, cause I ain't the one. I'll lead rappers just like Tylenol. Trying to front, perpetrate the stunt. Smoke you up. Raw like sushi. Rapped it to me. Mayhem. Till the AM. Like a hustle. Amazing. With authority. On Hill Street Blues. Cause I get raw. Yo, I ain't even gotta play no more. That cat did in one verse more than some of these cats do in their whole careers.
Yeah.
You got people out here rapping now that could not string together what he just did in one verse. And you know what the crazy part about it? Antonio Hardy, Big Daddy Kane was like, what, 19?
Was he? Okay.
Oh, he was young. He was young. I mean, he's not that much older than us.
Yeah.
I mean, 19, 20. But this was what's special about this for me. So one, the labels, Cold Chillin', Marley Marl, they had a deal with Warner Brothers, so they, you know, they were able to, I guess, get to more places. But this was on the Colors soundtrack.
It was.
And Colors came out in 80. Nephew Josh, you know, have you seen Colors?
No, I haven't. What Colors?
Okay, you got to watch it. So it's one of the first movies documenting gang life in LA. Now it's a little sensationalist, you know what I'm saying? Like it might be, but you got to think about who's in this movie. Don Cheadle, Damon Wayans, who else is in?
Sean Penn.
Sean Penn. What's my man's name? Sean Penn and the other lead.
Oh yeah, because he was in The Godfather as the other son. He was a lawyer's son. I can't think of his name.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
Those were the two. It was, you know, these cops, and they, you know, do a lot. They're with the gang division.
Yeah, like Glenn Plummer's in it. I don't know. If
Glenn Plummer's in it. Yep.
South Central.
Yeah, he's in there. But it was a go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it was like the first.
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you because I'm gonna keep talking, but it's gonna drive me crazy if I don't.
That made John Singleton say, "Okay, I'm gonna show what our LA is." You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
as opposed to just Hollywood.
Yeah, it was like, you know, kind of like Dennis Hopper.
Yep.
You know,
was the director. Yep.
Yeah, he was the director, and he was kind of like trying to show this gang thing, but it came across like we thought it was fascinating at you know, like on the initial viewing, but then after, you know, some write-ups from you know, our perspective, we were kind of, hey, this one is stereotypical. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's Robert Duvall.
That's him.
Robert Duvall. So not oddly enough, but interestingly enough, the score, Herbie Hancock does the score.
Did he?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, Herbie Hancock does the score, but the soundtrack is kind of interesting because it has like this whole, it's like a hodgepodge of music. So I don't know who put it together, but it's got like Rick James, Big Daddy Kane is on there. I think they were all Warner Brothers affiliated artists.
Yeah. Because, check this out though. I never knew Raw was in that film. I just heard Raw from.
Yeah, it's on the soundtrack.
Yeah, but I never knew that. Like I never knew it was. I just heard it from everybody else, meaning like I just thought it was a big, you know, it just circulated around. I never knew it was in the movie or that's what the thing was. Like I never knew that. If, you know, because I remember just the Ice-T song "Cups."
Oh yeah, that was the big jump.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
Yeah, that was the lead single, and then like I said, I had the soundtrack. That's the only reason I know.
Oh, okay.
I bought the cassette, and that's why I knew, because it was the real Roxanne. I think they got Roxanne Shante and the real Roxanne has something on the soundtrack. Like I said, Rick James. It's a bunch of stuff. I haven't seen it in years, but it was a very interesting moment in time. It did come out in 1988. You have Glenn Plummer, Don Cheadle, Damon Wayans. These are people you would know. Oddly enough, a young Mario Lopez as a 21st Street gang member. So
really?
Yeah.
He was in that joint?
Who knew?
Later.
Yeah. And then what you call it? Who she got out of the way. She let all these Latinx sisters live. Maria Conchita Alonso, who was like the OG Latina sister.
Yeah, she sure was. I mean, man, so like you if you've seen like I'm sure you've seen Training Day. I'm sure you've seen
it's very similar.
Some other stuff.
It's real similar.
You I mean, in say the context of things of like because I mean, like we said, this was 88, so for pretty much honestly, man, for like most of the country, that was the first we had seen of like LA gang life. Like we didn't like we didn't have we didn't know anything. Like you saw maybe you might have caught the 2020 special or something like that. But this was the kind of like, oh, so this is what this is.
And see, when we were seeing it and we didn't know. So like if you look at the Beat It video from Michael Jackson, that's sort of that. But I didn't know. Like I was just like, oh, them dudes dressed kind of different, but I didn't know it was a
it was a thing.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Like I think as a matter of fact, we like I remember after that movie came out, because that was the whole thing, like, you can't wear these colors. You can't wear we were like, wait a minute, you can't wear blue? Like you can't wear, like we just didn't understand it. And this movie kind of was like sparked all those conversations and news specials and things about that, because it was getting out of hand. And so they showed, it's not the best representation, but it is a representation now. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I'm sure like after, I mean, like I said, post that film, you saw like Boys in the Hood and South Central and all these other things that kind of gave you, so like it was kind of like something else. But it's I wouldn't say it's a definite must see, but
but it'll give you an insight.
If you just happen to be scrolling the channel, colors, and it's free,
right, and it's free,
I check it out and say, like, it's not, it's man, just what it was at say the time, like, just kind of one of those things. Oh yeah, cool.
So y'all gave me some homework today.
Yeah. Well, thank you all as always. This is awesome. Somebody had a request for us, and I cannot remember because I am getting old. But we did individual years. I would like to put it out there. This would be cool, I think, and a challenge. I know what it was. It was related to soundtracks.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking
it was related to soundtracks. So let's see. I'm of the mindset that some of the greatest soundtracks that we've ever had were in the 90s. That's kind of like the sweet spot. So here's what we will do. We will, if everybody can figure out a way to get the Strictly Business soundtrack from 1991. Rest in peace, Andre Harrell, for making that happen, for putting a young Halle Berry on in one of her first
films.
You got Tommy Davidson. You got your man from the show. And so
Sam Jackson.
Yes, he's in there again. So what I want to see is take a listen to that and pull everybody listen to everything. And then as people pull their favorites, if we bump heads, at least we will have a backup.
Favorites from that album or just from that era?
From that soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Which will be, because now we got a finite. We got a finite amount of material.
Okay.
So
it's
a challenge.
Okay. So this makes this interesting. Nobody can pick till you called and told me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That was a hit off the
That's
thing.
fair. That's
you know
fair.
what I'm saying? So,
that's fair. Jeff Red is off limits.
Yeah. You can't pick Jeff Red.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I'm good with that.
Word.
Okay.
All right. So next week, Uptown Records, Uptown MCA, Strictly Business soundtrack. No Jeff Red. And this is, again, us here, Grown Folks Music 3x3 BTG podcast. You have your love man or government person, the Ricker, Soul Brav, and we will catch y'all the next time. Peace.
All right, man. Peace. Everybody have a good one.
Y'all too. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem.